So I'm recording here. Okay, great. So welcome everyone. This is SIG Network Ingress Engine Nexus project meeting. Today is April 27, 2021. This is a Kubernetes community meeting. So we have a code of conduct being applied here, and we ask you all to comply with the code of conduct, which is basically be excellent with each other. Don't be a jerk with no one. And any violation should be reported to any of the SIG Network chairs, which you can find in the SIG Network charter at GitHub, or you can report directly to me if your complaint is not about me. Okay. Yeah, so this meeting is actually a kickoff about Ingress and Nginx and what we should do with it, right? So I guess everyone knows that Ingress and Nginx is one of the most, or probably the most used Ingress controller project around there. And last year, Alejandro stepped down from the maintenance of this project, right? So he did a really amazing work during that time, but because of some other reasons, he asked me to step down. And as the main maintainer from Ingress and Nginx, he was looking for someone to keep the project ongoing. This was discussed in some of other SIG network meetings, and actually this is being discussed, I guess, by the technical oversight commitment from Kubernetes, but on this, I guess, the steering committee. But anyway, I was talking with other folks like Elvin and Bowie. How can we at least keep the maintenance of this project by its importance? And then I have scheduled this meeting so we can discuss who wants to help owning this. To be honest, I am just in the middle of switching jobs, so I wouldn't be able to be a maintainer of or be running these meetings like every week or every 2 weeks, but we can discuss about that. And then the idea here is how can we keep this project running and do it to its importance. So first of all, instead of going directly to the meeting items, I would like to ask you, to invite you to present yourself, and if you want, if you don't want, it's okay as well, and say who are you, what are your expectations with Ingress and Nginx, if you are a user, if you are a developer of it, if you work for a cloud provider that uses it, what are your expectations about that? So I would like to invite you for the next 5 minutes to present yourself, and please, folks, go ahead. Don't let me speaking alone here.
I can go ahead and get started. So my name is James Strong. I'm a Cloud Native Director at Contino. We are a AWS Managed Services partner, actually major cloud services provider. I've used Nginx Ingress Controller at multiple clients. I'm also a community maintainer from a meetups perspective for Louisville, Kentucky.
Thank you, James. Bert,
well, so my name is Per Andersson. I'm chief architect at a company called Kaloom. We develop networking solutions, hardware-based network solutions for data centers, and then including Kubernetes. So we program everything in P4. We also do solutions on SmartNICs. I have a long past in building load balancers, like 24 years of doing that at Ericsson. I haven't participated at all in NGX. We always did our own load balancers. Now I don't know if we're gonna do our own Ingress controller bottom up, because we really want to have quick and HTTP2 support, or if we would use NGX for where we're going. So I'm probably not a good participant right now to do maintenance on it. I don't know the code base at all, but it's an area that's dear to me.
Okay, I think we can later maybe try to do some deep dive into the code. I've been developing Ingress Engine X like on the I was a contributor like in 2017 2018. From there to now it changed a lot, but I guess I can try to at least show some inner parts of it. Otherwise we can schedule it with Elvin and maybe try Alejandro. But yeah, who else? No one? First
Hello?
out. Hey, hi Ming.
Hello. I'm Ming Wen. I come from China. So it's 1 a.m. in my country now. So it's very late.
Sorry. I really try to make some
It's okay.
friendly hours, but yeah, it's hard for everyone. But we can maybe switch that.
Yeah. I will introduce myself shortly. I'm a contributor of the Nginx Ingress Controller project. I'm also a contributor of OpenRST, so I'm familiar with Nginx and Lua. So I think I can help you to maintain the Nginx and Lua part of this project. Yeah.
Okay, great, amazing, Ming. Thank you. Anyone? Hey, Bowie. We are just presenting ourselves, Bowie, if you want to present yourself. Yeah, you are probably muted. Okay, folks, so yeah, so welcome everyone. I am Ricardo. As I say, I am nowadays I am in the middle of switching jobs, so I've used it to contribute with Ingress Engine X in 2017, 2018, because of my former company. I have a lot of love to this project because it was my first project contributing to Kubernetes. But yeah, due to this change of jobs, I won't be able to help every time, but I hope we can form a community here to maybe keep the maintenance of this project, right? So yeah, so I've put some agenda template. Bowie, do you wanna say something? I don't know, you are muted, but we can hear you. Yeah, we can't hear you, Bowie. So yeah, sure.
Hey, Ricardo, it's James. So I think the big thing, or at least from my perspective, is I have the technical understanding. I mean, I've written Go APIs. I understand how to do code reviews and other things like that. I guess it's the big thing for me would just be understanding how we would do this in the K8 community, because I've not maintained an actual open source project. But I would definitely like to be able to help, run the meetings, do the code reviews, and just put structure to this. But other than that, I mean, I would need some, guidance from a mentor from that perspective.
Yeah, sure. I think we can, as we have time this first meeting, we can go through the open items of the meeting and maybe do this like, yeah, I wanna start reviewing. I need some knowledge about this, about that. So we can discuss about that, James. Yeah. So Bowie, are you with the right microphone now?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, sorry, I joined in late, so I was trying to catch up. I think generally, what it sounds like is since Alejandro left, like the first, I think like the stuff on the email makes sense. One of the first things that we should probably do as a group is just to get the state of the world, because it's been like ongoing, like how many issues outstanding and where we see bugs and like just like and then where we want to go. And then based on that, it would be then like I think it naturally comes like, okay, the group meets X times a week, triage and so forth. Like do people in this group have a good sense of like what the state of the world is? Like is it have a lot of bugs, few bugs, like what is the lots of issues, backlog and so forth?
Yeah, to be honest, I don't. I did some issue triage last week and I saw a lot of support things and some bugs, but I really don't. Ming, I guess you have some better view, right? Because you've been contributing mostly.
I don't. So I think as a group, that might be one of our first items is to basically just get the current status of the project. You know, where investment needs to be made. Yeah, like where, and then we can come up with the triage process. I think like if we jump to the triage process, we might be missing out on stuff. Like, are all components in the hierarchy like understood? Like, is there some crafty stuff there?
I have one question. So like I said, I haven't looked at Nginx for years, but is the open source properly supported now after Nginx basically left the open source track and went all commercial? So how is the base for sort of long-term support?
You mean the Ingress controller
properly?
Or the software?
No, the Nginx itself, sort of the stuff that's there in the bottom, right? And we have HTTP 3 coming. Do we expect to see an update of Nginx to support that and all these things? It's not, first, of course, it needs to be maintained and supported right now, but sort of, is there also a problem with sort of finding a new, do we need to work also on the base part, the web server itself or the HTTP proxy? That worries me.
Yeah, in my opinion, I don't think nowadays we need to do that. I've seen some folks like Elvin doing some changes into the Ingress in Nginx to have some features that Nginx open source doesn't have, like the hot reloads, right? So yeah, we have those two flavors of Nginx. We have the enterprise one and the community one, and the community one is still maintained because it's a mainly used web server as well.
Yeah, so it's HTTP 3 and stuff like that I'm sort of.
I think they are already on that path.
Okay, cool. Yeah.
So Bowie, what do you suggest so we can have a state of the world right now? Do you want me to share my screen and take a look like what do we have, or do you want to discuss about the state of the world with other folks? What's your suggestion?
Yeah, my suggestion is one is to, and we can solicit volunteers for this. Like, it would be good to put together a presentation or something where people can look at maybe a web page like that, can look at the architecture of the software and how it maps to the repo, even just for new contributors, because I don't know if it's very obvious just building it and looking at it, like how the pieces work. I know that there's like a significant LUAP component. There is a controller that generates the configuration. So like that is one task. Another one, and I'm recommending doing this offline because I don't know if we can fly through it in 10 minutes, but maybe come back like next week with the summary, is to go through all the issues. Like that's an obvious one. And then from there, we can kind of figure out, okay, there is probably some set of things that needs to happen now in terms of like fixing the current issues. And then we can look at sort of what we want that's not there, and that would be like the feature development kind of stuff. So that'd be like new, like roadmap, basically. That's my take on it, having not actually looked significantly.
Sorry, Bowie, I've just lost your last thing. The first thing was to put some document about the architecture, and the last thing is
to just like categorize like bugs that need to be fixed now, feature requests, and internal infrastructure, I guess, like reorganization. And then based on that, like how big those buckets are, then we can figure out. I'm assuming that bugs is going to be pretty big, just because it usually is. Some kind of roadmap for like 6 months, and then based on that, 6 and 12 months, I guess, if you are ambitious. Then based on that, we can then it's like easier to set up a structure where we can ask the group to volunteer to take up pieces of it, and at the same time have it sort of be more cohesive. Like if we look at bugs one by one, I think like there are certain bugs where we'll get a lot of traction, and then there are a lot of bugs where like you'll get like no traction, and then it just becomes very uneven in terms of the investment on that project overall.
I will try to see if I can find sort of I do budgets and stuff like a half person. I mean, 50% of one person. I will try. I can't promise, but that's my goal.
Sounds good. I can do some.
Yeah, I think like having that overall map is kind of what my concern is, and if we generate that, then it will be like the investments will be directed to basically benefit the whole project. Versus if people are individual, I think that's what's happening today, is that there's just individual people coming in and doing one, or and then maybe there's a few people who are just handling the bulk of the like core maintenance, and that needs to be kind of spread out to make it viable.
Yeah, sounds a good approach to me. Okay. Yeah, I can jump into the mapping the architecture of the repo. I can reach Elvin and do this with him. I've sent to you on the Zoom chat a bookmark from the Google Docs where Elvin already mapped a lot of the parts of the code, like the core sync logic, the data plane, the Nginx image. So I think it's a good start, but I can put those together in a doc or something like that, like start contributing to, so we can have like how can someone contribute with the project, right? A contributor guide. Yeah, sounds good to me. So about mapping categorizing the bugs that need to be fixed, feature requests, etc. Who wants to own this action item? Like trying to at least make some overview of the state of all of those issues.
So my recommendation is that I think like one of the other SIGs has some triage tool or something. We can see. They have basically we just need a list of all of the issues right now, and then a set of categories that we want to categorize it into, and then it can be farmed out. Like we can say everyone in the group go and look at like 10 issues or something, right? And come back. But first we need some way to collect that data, or maybe we can use labels.
Yeah,
I think we just need to agree on a format and then just proceed.
I think labels, they are already used. We have like the kind bugs and the kind design, kind features. So but like the triage label, it's not used yet, which were already triaged or not, the which were accepted or not. So we some of the issues, they don't have the kind bug or the kind features. So yeah, we did that for kubeproxy. I guess it's what you are referencing, right? We
yeah, I think like I see 250 open issues, so it's not like an insurmountable number like thousands, which was like SIG network on Kubernetes. So we can definitely just walk through these. Looks like there's a bunch of triage actually. It started happening. I'm looking.
We have more
I
issues.
see it actually on a lot of issues, so it looks like that thing is used somewhat. There's so my recommendation is first, someone needs to go through all the stale issues and either mark them as actually stale or just close them. The next thing is anything that doesn't have any label needs to be looked at, and then go through triage. And then we will be left with the buckets. And then for each bucket, we should just go through them just in one pass to just verify that they make sense.
Okay.
I can go ahead and I'll volunteer to do that. It'll be a good way for me to get familiar with everything that's in the repo as well.
Thank you.
Okay.
Yeah, I
Thank
see
you.
it's 250, so it's not like an insane number. So
No,
it is possible to go through.
I'll mention it in the SIG contributor channel and see if anyone's got that triage tool you were talking about.
That's the
And I'll
triage
just-
party.
Triage party?
Yeah.
Okay.
And we can probably reach Laurie Apple and ask her for some help. He has been really helpful with QProxy things, and she has like a good. Laurie has a good knowledge about these things as well, so we can reach you.
Okay. I'll work with you offline then. And
Yeah.
the goal would be for next week that we can review this.
Yeah, I think like next week, let's review the results of both the 10-minute summary of like how to become a contributor, then the bug categories, and then from there we can construct a roadmap of like 6 months what we want to happen, and then the call for contributors is more structured because we can be like, okay, these bugs, like who wants to volunteer here, who wants to volunteer here.
Yeah, it's basically prioritizing the backlog. That's what it's, and then asking for help.
James,
Yeah, exactly.
If you want to do this week, I have some time yet. While I didn't start it at my new job, so I can help you with some things, so you don't get
Awesome.
crowded with like 250 issues, because it's not a lot, but it is a lot, right?
Yeah, that's true. Like the idea is that also if you can create search maybe by date or something, I don't know, like there's a way to just chop up chunks of it, then we can kind of distribute them some ways so that people aren't just looking at the same issues.
Yeah. I'll get with you, Ricardo, on as far as timing this week, and we'll pull it down and I'll start categorizing it and looking through it. So
Yeah, sounds good to me. Okay. Thank you, Bowie. Thank you for the ideas here. Yeah, so far we got 2 action items for that. The first one is to map the architecture of the repo, and the other one is to categorize the issues, which James and I will do. Okay. So the next part is that I wanted to discuss with you. So as Bowie said, we wanted to say the mid to long term plans for Ingress from SIG Network to Ingress in Nginx, but we just can't know about that with all of those mappings. So I will leave this to the next meeting or so. And the next thing that I wanted to discuss with you is about how actually we wanna start not just start doing the issue triage, but what should we do as we are a small group with the support issues, right? So this is something that we've been trying, at least I've seen in SIG Network and other SIGs, to not have support issues and ask folks to kindly ask in Slack or ask in Stack Overflow or ask in Discuss.
Is there anyone from Red? Just curious. Is there anyone from Red Hat here?
Not
It's
from
not
the
right.
names.
Okay,
I
well, it's
don't-
like I have a meeting with Azar and also some other people from the OpenShift team tomorrow. So I'll point them and say that there is need for help here and see if something happens.
Yeah, I don't think that they use it. They have their own router, but yeah, sounds good to have some.
I'll see what happens.
Yeah. So about the support issues, I know that this might be a bit aggressive for the perspective of the user, but I wanted to discuss with you if we should at least try to direct users to get some help from the community other than issues and leaving the GitHub issues to report like features and bugs. So I want to listen to you about that because this is my opinion. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that is the policy generically in Kubernetes because the support issues can become pretty overwhelming. It's also like, what is a support issue? What is a bug? I guess support issue is like, I can't configure it kind of thing, or like I have a very specific configuration.
So you mean about like if it's a support that we think might be a bug we should keep, but if this is something like, yeah, I'm trying to create an allow list and I can't use the annotation for the allow list, what's the annotation for the allow list? We can direct them to other.
Yeah, that definitely needs to be direct. Like the how to use things should definitely be directed to the community in Slack.
Okay, so I guess we can do that as well this week, James, like seeing which of them are like support, someone trying to make something and directing them to the right channels, right? Yeah. Okay, sounds good to me. Yeah, so okay, about the issue triage, we are going to discuss this later as well. Yeah, about PR reviewers. So I've seen Bowie marking me on like some Helm charts triage, Elvin and other folks that are already assigned to that. That do some PR reviews. They aren't already here, but yeah, I guess we can only discuss this as well as long as we know what are the PRs that are already in the QE and maybe figured out. So this is something that we should probably...
Sorry, we forgot to put PRs in the list of issues, but they are actually, someone needs to go through them as well. I see a huge number that are just need OK to test.
Yeah, I can do that.
I think like if we go through the super small ones and take care of them, and then there will be like 2 buckets. One of them is what, like bug fix. Yeah, those need a little bit of a classification because I don't see any major classification on any of them.
Yeah, I think that as soon as we got the scenario out, we should probably try to get some other automations from the bot here, right? Some categorization as well, because
right.
I miss a lot of them. Yeah. Okay, Bowie. So categorize PRs, I can take a look into them and at least release the OK to test. I'm gonna add myself as an approver, at least to take a look into the extra small and the small ones that are
right.
not going. Yeah. And I will ping you in Slack and ask you to approve me as an owner as well. Yeah. Okay. Okay, great. Yeah, and the last thing, the 2 last things that I wanted to I left in as the open items. The first one is about the meeting times and future moderators. I know that for me this time is pretty bad because he's in China, but I wanted to know if this time is okay to you folks. I can't say it's okay to me because I don't know how much time I will have for this, but I want to ask for you about like having the meeting time and some future moderators that can deal with this if I can't.
Lunchtime.
Usually we send out an email because that's easiest for people to respond with and for you to collect the results. And then based on that, it's also that's a broader community because the people who, it's like if they couldn't make this meeting, then this meeting was a bad time, but they have like no way to tell you.
Yeah. I've sent a doodle for this one, but I will send it. I will send an email confirming and seeing if we can at least start doing this bi-weekly and syncing asynchronous in Slack. I don't think we are having like the state of the world in the next week. It's at least by my side, it's gonna be pretty hard. But yeah, I will send this to SIG Network meeting.
Yeah, or bi-weekly. Sorry, I said next week, but whenever the next meeting is.
Yeah, okay. So confirming the time.
Moderating meetings is definitely something that's I'm comfortable with in my wheelhouse, as running meetups and things like that. So I can definitely help from that perspective.
Yeah, thank you. Sounds good, James. I would really appreciate the help with this because I can, yeah. Yeah, so this Slack room is already like this Zoom room is already the one that we use at SIG Network policy. So I can just send you the meeting code and we can think about that later. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
Great. Okay, so yeah, and the last item that I will leave open as soon as we know about like the state is about Ingress Engine Nginx plus Gateway API. I already added that because I know that probably no one is looking at this, but this is something that has been worked by SIG Network. Bowie is one of the main architects of this one with Rob and other folks, and I don't think no one is taking a look into this in Ingress Engine Nginx, so it will be really, I think, it will be really strange if like every other Ingress controller supports already Gateway API and Ingress Engine Nginx, which is in the main repo not. But
yeah, I mean, that would be great if we could get support for it. One of the things that we do need to clarify as a specific thing is that right now, I think the Ingress Nginx has support for like an incredible number of versions of Kubernetes, or it's like it supports very old versions of Kubernetes. And that was one of the reasons why it was fairly widely adopted. But on the other hand, it's like it makes it harder for it to, like, we need to define that, I guess, as part of this roadmap and scoping, is to like, what is the compatibility issue? Because I remember there was a discussion I had with Alejandro a couple of years ago where he couldn't add something because it would break like some really old version of Kubernetes. And I was like, well, like you have to kind of balance that.
Yeah. We should probably establish a deprecation policy for that as well, right?
Yeah, or like the worst is a branch, but yeah, I think there needs to be some kind of specific language.
Okay. Okay, I don't know if this is you writing to the open topics, but yeah.
That I wrote that.
Okay, James.
If the wording's wrong, just let me know.
No, that's right. We have actually two scenarios. Like the first one is to investigate the versions that Ingress Engine, that the Kubernetes version that Ingress Engine Nginx, the pure Ingress Engine Nginx is going to support, and the later one is how can we add support for the Gateway API, because this number of versions supported might be a problem, right? Like if we still support like Kubernetes 1.14, so it might be a problem because actually Ingress API is on V1, and we need to see if Ingress Engine Nginx is still supporting like extensions / Ingress or like V1 beta 1, and this might bring some compatibility issues. Okay, folks. So yeah, so we got 3 action items. I'm gonna sync with James to categorize those things and try it out. I will make the map of the architecture of the repo with Elvin. And I don't know if someone wants to discuss something else about this first approach, or if someone wants to jump into some other other thing here in the agenda, like on something else on this part of investigation the Kubernetes versions. I will leave this as an open action item.
Hi, everyone. Unfortunately, I have to drop off, but it's great to see this kick off. I think, yeah, let's build a community around this.
Yeah. Bowie, thank you very much for your help here. Really appreciate that. Thank you.
Okay. See everyone.
See. Okay, folks. So I guess for now it's all. I just need someone to investigate the Kubernetes version versus Ingress Nginx version SKU. But I will leave this action item open if no one jumps in here, and we can add this to the queue. Okay. All right. So let me remove here the items from the agenda. Yeah. And I think for the first meeting, this is all. Someone wants to say anything else? Otherwise, I'm gonna send the email for the next meeting in 2 weeks and see if the same time is good for everyone. 1, 2. Okay, so I guess this is all, folks. Thank you very much for everyone that jumped in. Really appreciate that. Let's make this project keep moving. And see you all probably in 2 weeks. Otherwise, James will see you all in 2 weeks. Thank you, folks, and have a nice week.
Have a nice
Thanks,
day.
everyone.
Take care. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Oh, bye-bye.